I would like to give the floor to our next speaker, Antony van der Meer. Antony, may I give you the floor?
Sure, thanks. So let's go. I have a lot to talk about. Here we go.
Yes, we see your screen.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so who am I? Yeah, my name is Antony van der Meer, Antony van der Meer, and that's how you say it in Dutch. I'm a journalist. I actually do a lot of research on cybersecurity, and I make awareness films. I've been doing that since 2015. There are a couple of films that are also translated in English and freely on YouTube. Find My Phone and Rats and Slaves. It all started in 2015 when I made a film about my own smartphone. It got stolen, and I wondered what would happen to a phone that gets stolen. So I made a bait phone, a phone where I installed spyware on it and just let it get stolen. And I followed the thief. So I made a film about the thief of my smartphone. And because the film went viral, I got a lot of opportunities to make new projects. So I started wondering, is there a better subject I want to make something about? So I came up with this concept. So can you scam a scammer? And not just to steal their money, of course, but to get a complete insight into their methods, tricks, their tools, and find out who they are. So an awareness film. So the goal was to give the audience an idea how scammers work. But if you know how scammers, cybercriminals work, you can protect yourself against them a little bit better. And also find out who those people behind the scams are. One thing that was very important to me, that the whole project would be transparent. So there wouldn't be any magic. You would see how we actually do the investigations. It was also to regain the trust in journalism again. So we've worked for 2 years with a very small team, with just 3 people, my girlfriend, me, another researcher, and a web developer, and the result is Bait. Bait went on the Dutch TV, but I'll come back to the international version in a second. We did 4 episodes in those 2 years, so that's a lot of work, of course. We did one about technical support scammers, so the Microsoft scammers, dating fraud networks, phishing networks in the Netherlands, and sex spam bots on social media. So how do we approach such an investigation? The first step for me was to get scammed. So I would deliberately get myself scammed and record the whole process to find out why people fall for these kind of scams. What kind of tools they use, what kind of techniques they use, but especially also the rhetorical and psychological tricks scammers use. Because a lot of people think, I wouldn't fall for that kind of scam because I'm not stupid. Well, scammers are really smart. We've already heard a lot about it today. And it's also to reverse engineer their own MO by analyzing their methods. Because by reverse engineering it, we could find a weakness in the process and set up a trap. And maybe even use the scammers' methods against themselves. So 2 traps that we designed were a payload that was hidden inside a photo of a credit card that we could deliberately get stolen, or even a digital banking app, so we could fish on fishers. So after we gained access to their systems, for instance, or after we got a lot of information about them, we started monitoring it and analyzing it, being the fly in the wall, not doing anything at all, just watching. So we got a lot of information, and we combined that with social engineering, or we combined it with open source intelligence to find out who those guys were behind it. And sometimes that didn't work, so we had to become part of the network. So I had to go undercover, digitally or even physically. So a couple of examples that we did. We found out what those bots are that are all over YouTube and Instagram and what they want. We infiltrated the companies that were actually behind this. And found out how much money they made, how it all operates. We went deep inside phishing networks in the Netherlands. So not only the phishing panels and how those things work, how they steal the money, but also the whole network behind it. I actually purposefully became one of the money mules in order to catch one of the bigger fishers we found. Here's a little piece of that.
Anthony, we cannot hear the sound, unfortunately.
So you can see they really try to lure money mules into their networks by saying it's all legal. We set up our own call center to catch technical support scammers. It was really fun. Which worked. We actually gained access to 3 technical support scammer companies, and we could completely see what they were doing and monitor everything. So we found their call scripts. They called it sales pitches, which says a lot about them, I guess. A lot of money that they got, a lot of gift cards, how they launder that money, not only through Google Play, but also by making that gift cards, turn that gift cards into crypto. They were actually spying on people just for fun, steal their identity, break computers of victims. And when they were bored, they would watch Netflix a lot, which is of course paid for by a hacked PayPal account from one of their victims. But the most intensive episode we made was about romance scams. We got our new partner, our fiance David. I used AI to turn myself into a woman, and my girlfriend played the voice of that woman, and put a lot of effort, lots of months into that relationship to set up a trap. This included also nudes that he wanted. So I turned my ass into a boob photo. And then we set up a trap. Unfortunately, our husband David didn't fall for it. So we had to lure new dating fraudsters. So we actually ended up with a lot of them. We had more than 10 we never kept in touch with. Used the same trick and found out their locations and found out the whole system behind it, the Yahoo Boy networks, and how those operate, how they teach each other how to scam. But also, which I think is more important and interesting, is the money laundering networks behind it, the bigger networks that go way further. They're not only in Africa, but they're in the whole of Europe as well. So this is an example of things that we could get out of the app they installed, thinking it was a banking app. So the location. We would also make photos when they opened the app to see if their money was already arrived on their account. So this, in combination with email addresses and stuff they filled into the app, allowed us to find out who they were. And we could actually also make videos. We actually heard them panicking when the money didn't arrive after a week. It was really interesting to see. But we didn't have any information about our fiance that we kept in touch with for over 3 months, meanwhile scamming the other scammers. So we ended up just bluffing, actually. Just like they bluff to their victims that they're having big troubles and they will end the relationship if you don't pay. We bluffed a lot, that we knew a lot about him. So this is a part of that confrontation.
Anthony, we cannot hear the sound.
Oh, that's a shame. Well, then I'll just, I guess I can't fix that.
No, my proposal is that you post a link in the chat after your presentation so people can watch the videos.
Sure, yeah. So the conclusion here is it worked. We bluffed and he completely broke down. We got a full confession out of him and actually a lot of interesting information about the whole network behind it. So this is all in Dutch, unfortunately, but I'm planning on making English content that will be posted onto YouTube. So I'm looking for partners that want to cooperate. So if you're interested or think you know something that can help me, or know someone who can help me, please feel free to email me. That's it.
Thank you very much, Anthony. Very interesting. I mean, the reason we came in touch is that ScamAdviser supported you a little bit in one of the scams you were exposing. But I do think you're different from a lot of scam baiters in the sense you don't make jokes about them, you don't make them ridiculous, but you try to understand how they operate. And I can strongly recommend everybody to to check on YouTube and other channels what Anthony has created. And I strongly can recommend you chat with him further. After the next two presentations, we will have a breakout session, and Anthony will be in one of the breakouts, so you can ask him more questions.
Thank you.
Anthony, thank you again for your presentation, and
Thank you.
we will move on to the next speaker.